pretty fucking awesome. That's what it sounds like. Alright, so GSXR1000. This is the L2. I currently own a Gixxer 750 L1. So this is a bit of a, obviously, step up in terms of power and everything. But I should feel quite at home. I'm looking for a 1000cc bike. As some of you may know, that I've ended up writing off my ZX10, and in looking for a new 1000cc, I sort of just ignored. Okay, it's got a bit more poke than the 750, that's for certain. It's important for me for the bike to be a good all-rounder, and so far all the 1000cc bikes that I've test ridden have just been amazing. You know, they've been absolutely astonishing. Like really good bikes, and I think that is a testament to how good bike manufacturers are getting nowadays. That, to be honest, if you go out and you buy any 1000cc, they're just going to be incredible. I mean, they're all amazing. They all make you feel fantastic. What I was quite surprised at, actually, is the weight. The weight's actually pretty good. It doesn't feel heavy. It feels light on its feet. It's a very comfortable motorcycle. Very comfortable. I'm not sure if the previous owner's done some suspension work to this bike, but it doesn't feel quite as plush as mine. The 750. I don't know whether that's because it's got a slightly stiffer spring being put in for this model. You know, I love the Gixxer. I love my Gixxer. I love all Gixxers, really. They're great bikes, and they're so underrated. It's insane. And the thing that people don't realise is that the bikes are so much cheaper than the other 1000cc's, but they're not any worse. You know, this is faster than a Blade, this bike. I'm not going to lie to anyone. You know, the best 1000cc bike on the market for me is the BMW S1000. Simple as. But at the same time, you pay for that. You know, you do pay quite a big amount of money for it. Unless you're Rossi or Marquez, you ain't going to fucking be able to use it. Simple as that. You know, you're not going to be able to use it for its full potential. You know, this bike here, even this bike here you wouldn't use. You know, you wouldn't use all of it, but the difference is you're not spending a stupid amount of money in purchasing. I got a sexual healing. The styling for me on the 1000cc compared to the 600cc, even L1 models, the 1000 looks so much better. Ah, for fuck's sake! I think I went through a fucking speed camera. Oh well. I don't think it can read this number plate, actually, because it's a small license plate, so I don't think it knows what that is. So hopefully I get off. And also it's a small license plate, but I just like to point out, this is not my bike, yeah? This is a bike that was supplied to me, so it's not my bike. Maybe my responsibility, but it's not my bike. Gets me, why do people put small license plates on their bikes? You know, I understand in a way, you know, you think, oh, the small ones look better, the massive ones look shit. And that's fair enough, but if you're going to do stupid shit on a bike, actually, whether or not you're going to do stupid shit or not on a bike, you will inevitably get pulled over. At one point or other, you will inevitably get pulled over, and you're just making it so much more likely to get pulled over. But yeah, this is, guys, this is lovely. Like, you fucking knob. Hate people who do that. There's so many people who just fucking pull out. If you're one of these cunts, I swear to God, I will find you. Back to the bike. Yeah, so my bike has 2 engine modes. It's got A and it's got B. Now this bike has A, B and C. I have no idea what any of them mean. Do I agree with it? Well, to be honest, it doesn't do any harm, does it? Handles so well. For 1,000, it handles really well. It's so agile. It just turns in just like the 750 turns in. Yeah, you know, I'm not going to lie, you can feel the difference. You can feel the difference in weight, but not to the extent I was thinking it would be. It's really not that much more. It still has that proper Gixxer stable feel about it. That's what I like. It is a perfectly scaled up version of the 750. Perfectly scaled up. There's no changes in anything. Everything that was brilliant about the 750 and the 600 is right here on the 1000. You know, it's so ergonomically brilliant. Everything is where you expect it to be. The engine spins up so well. It feels so good. I think what I'll do now is I'll just get off the bike and let you guys have a look at this beaut. It's got that wicked Suzuki race team style paint on it. It's got some red rim tape. At the front, you've got the Brembo monoblock calipers. They stop on a dime. They're fucking brilliant. I think standard master cylinder though, still standard Nissan master cylinders. They haven't gone the whole hog with it and upgraded to Brembo master cylinders yet. Big piston Showa forks on the front. On the rear, I think Suzuki still need to have a word with their rear shock person and say, throw a fucking nice shock on it for once, because they still don't do that. They still just leave it as the standard shock, which is it's a bit frustrating, really, I think. This one in particular has had a couple of upgrades done to it. It's got a set rear sets on it, new rear sets on it. It's got R&G crash protection, Akrapovic exhaust. It's pretty nice. It's really nice, actually. He's done a good job with it. He's put some carbon rear mudguard on it as well. This is what it sounds like. Pretty fucking awesome. That's what it sounds like. You're going from a 600 and you're considering a bigger bike, but you're like, do I go for a 750 Gixxer or do I go for a 1000cc? Well, the 750 Gixxer is unique because the 750 Gixxer, in my opinion, is in sort of a class of its own. It's maybe you could, argue that the Daytona and things like that are probably better than it, but that's completely to do with like a track or something like that. But let's be honest, guys, are you literally going to only ride it on track? No, you're not. You're going to, majority of the time, you're going to ride it on the road. Do you really need all this Öhlins suspension and big Brembo monoblocks and titanium this and magnesium that? Do you really need it? And if you don't, the Gixxer is here. That's all I'm saying. And even with the Gixxer, it's a hell of a lot cheaper, and you still get the Brembo monoblocks. You still get all of it. Brembo monoblock brakes, big piston Showa forks. When you pick up one second hand like this, you get guys who have put the ASV levers on them. They've put all this on them and stuff. And brakes are squeaking. Oh my God! Oh, it's so good. What I'm trying to say is just give it a chance. Give the Gixxer 1000 the chance that it fucking well deserves, because my God, is it a good bike. Oh, hello everyone. I'm back from outer space. So yeah, on my way home now. This winter is shit, isn't it? It's only fucking November. mad because it's so bloody cold. It's freezing. Freezing. It's quite difficult. If I go through the bikes, I've ridden the Fireblade, which I believe to be one of the best bikes out at the moment. Much like the other three. But I think the problem with the Fireblade is it's a bit sensible. It's very, very smooth and silky, but there's not much aggression to it. It feels like a very wallowy, you know, it feels like a very sensible option. Then you've got a bike like the BMW S1000, which actually suffers kind of almost from the same problem, really. Because it's so good, you sort of feel a bit disconnected from it. You sort of feel like, well, it could do this with or without me. I'm not really an integral part of this machine. You know, it feels like the bike doesn't really have a sense of humour. It's very serious, very, you know, 9-9, we must go around corner very fast, yeah? You know, no doodling, no doodling! If that makes any sense. It's just like it's just a very, very serious bike. And if that's what you're into, if what you're into is just pure technology, you know, I need to get the fastest lap time possible and that's how it makes me happy, then go for it, you know, go for the S1000, because that's the best choice, you know, it's the best bike, it's the fastest bike. But if you want something that excites you a bit, makes you feel like, oh, it's a bit on the edge, it's not, you know, it feels maybe even a bit unstable, you know, gives you a bit of a basically grabs you by the bollocks and gives you a little tickle. Maybe like something like a ZX10 is your thing, you know, if you want to feel genuinely scared, if that's the way you get off on a bike, if you know what I mean. It's one of those bikes that everything's fine, and then it's not. There's no like gradient in between where it starts to let you know that you're being a pleb. There's just a scale of, you know, you're fine, you die. That's literally how it works on the ZX10. Yeah, and then you have the Gixxer, which it gives you that sort of buzz, but without being stupid, you know, without having ridiculous amounts of power, without, you know, going over the top. It's not an over the top bike. I think that's the thing. It hasn't tried to be. It's just tried to be that perfect package once again of everything being really well balanced. And they've just stuck by it, you know, they've stuck by their ethos of making a bike, and that is why it's so good, because they've made the bike the way they wanted to make it, and not just to be faster or louder or better than anything else. You know, they've done it because they wanted to make a really good bike, and that for me is why I love it. And it's probably why, if I were to consider getting a new type 1000cc bike, I think for anyone out there who hasn't test ridden the Gixxer 1000, I think go and do it. You know, really go and test it, because it's a really, really capable machine. You know, stop asking yourself the question of, you know, oh, do I go S1000 or do I go R1 or do I go this? No, why wouldn't you have a Gixxer? It's a good looking bike. Goes like shit. Doesn't cost anywhere near as much as the other lot. It's a fucking no-brainer, surely, isn't it? And yeah, it doesn't have the fancy electronics that some of these other bikes have got. Granted, it doesn't have it. But a lot of things today, you know, oh, does it have electronic this? Does it have electronic that? Does it have this? Does it have that? The more you add to a bike, the more you take away from why you ride it in the first place. The very first bike you got didn't have launch control, traction control, this control, that control. You were the fucking control. And if you fucked it up, it was your fucking fault. And you came off. And that gave you the buzz. That gave you the fact that you had to be on it or you'd lose it. Nowadays, all the bikes are becoming so focused, all the bike manufacturers are becoming so focused on making them able to ride themselves. This is, like, why the fuck would you want that? Come on, cocksack. I think you've got to basically understand that electronics are there for safety reasons, for maybe performance reasons as well, but do they actually make you feel any better? I think that's the main thing I'm trying to get across. You know, ABS I completely understand. If it's a safety thing, I'm more than happy to accept that they'll be on every bike within the next year. Like ABS, you know, that's going to be a standard across all bikes, and I don't think people should argue about that, because if you really want to turn it off, you can turn it off. That's, most systems allow you to do that. And if you want to keep it on, and you know, well, keep it on, because they're good systems now. They're getting better and better and better with every bike that they come out on. You know, if they're good systems, you're not really going to notice anyway, and they're going to stop you quicker. You know, they could potentially save your life. So that I understand. But all these other control systems, like launch control and things like this, it's sort of like, yeah, fair enough, it gets you off the line really quickly, but is that what you want? Or do you want to get yourself off the line quickly? You know, I know what I feel. You know, if I got myself off the line as quickly as possible, I know I'd feel a damn sight better than just pressing a button going launch control and having it do it for me. It kind of it seems a bit defeatist, really. It kind of seems like, you know, oh, I bought this really good bike, but I can't really use it, so I'm just going to press all these buttons until it's fast. Do you know what I mean? That's sort of what I feel with these, with some of these gadgets that are coming out. And the Gixxer, they haven't bothered, and that's the brilliant thing about it. They've gone, no, fuck it, just leave them off, let them have a good time, and that's the brilliance. You know, that's what I love about motorcycles. You ride them because you want to have a good time. You don't ride them because they're practical. You don't ride them because they're, you know, the best form of transport in the world. You know, so well, some of us might think that they are the best form of transport in the world, but we don't ride them because they're, you know, the obvious choice. We ride them because they're not the obvious choice. We ride them because they're exciting. And if you take away that excitement through using buttons and switches and levers and dials, then you're sort of ruining the experience. You know, you're taking all of it away. You're taking all the vigor, you know, taking all the tingle away from my ball sack. And I like the tingle on my ball sack. I love the tingle on my ball sack. I want it to be there all the time. I wouldn't, you know, say Suzuki as a worse company just because they don't put electronics on bikes. I'd say that they're being unique. I'd say that they're being true to their own, true to their heritage, to their history of motorcycling. I think, you know, they're doing things the way that they think it should be done, which credit to them, you know, credit to them by sticking by it, because it's not that they're not capable of putting electronics on the bike. Of course they're capable of doing it. And they still have a few electronics like the rider modes and stuff like that, but that doesn't really change the bike at all. You know, you can, if you ignore it, for example, it's automatically the fastest it can be. You know, that's the way it should be. Whereas in the way it would be annoying is if they automatically set it up in B mode and you had to press a button to get it into the proper mode. Well, that would be stupid, you know. Would you be happy in the morning opening up your garage door and seeing that bike? If the answer is yes, then buy that one. You know, don't buy something which someone on a review has said, you know, for all I know, you could hate the look of the Gixxer and then go, well, Rocko told me to buy the Gixxer. Don't fucking listen to me. I know fuck all. I don't know fuck all, but I know very little when it comes to, you know, motorcycling. I'm not that fucking experienced. You know? So, buy the bike that you want. Buy the bike that makes your ballsack tingle, that makes your nipple hairs stand on end. No, buy that bike, because if you don't, you're going to regret it forever. But yeah, that's really all there is to say from me, guys. I hope you found this review useful. Tingle away from my ball sack.